Hello, everybody. I got myself a question in chat asking me why I picked Troll Warlord this game. So we're going to look at the scoreboard, ignore the fact that my team carried the shit out of me, because I picked my hero for the lane. So the only thing we're going to be looking at in this game is my laning stage, in which, I won my lane, and proceeded to not have to play the game because my team carried me so hard. But that's irrelevant towards the purpose of the video. So in this game, I had absolutely last 10th pick. I had 10th pick. So I was against a Slardar Mirana lane. So the whole point of this video is to be talking to you about how to pick your carry.
Banana slam jam.
This is just one example, and I emphasize to you guys not to necessarily learn that Troll Warlord's good against Slardar, but to learn the thought process that I go through in order to pick my carry. So I have 10th pick. I see Slardar Mirana. The only hero I hadn't seen yet was Riki. So now we're going to talk about exactly why I picked Troll. So this all stemmed from somebody asking why not Drow. Okay, so we're going to first talk about Slardar. I do have an entire guide on Slardar in case you want to know more about him. I do believe he's going to be meta in 7.29. Is that he's a right clicker that has to be point blank range to do damage to you. So the thing about Slardar is that he pretty much wins the trade battle with most right clickers because Slardar has the highest base armor of any strength hero in the game, and he also has a passive that gives him bonus damage that he can control, which makes him really good at trading. But then it also makes he has a Slither Crush, which slows your attack speed. So all of this makes Slardar a really good trade hero as long as he's allowed to hit you. So generally speaking, Slardar is countered by heroes that don't allow him to hit them, right? So notably, I would say the two best would actually be Drow and Troll. Both heroes are ranged, they're both agility, so they get armor eventually, and they also have a slow that prevents the Slardar from closing the gap in the laning phase. So I kind of listed to you what makes Slardar like a good laner and how you conceptually counter him. So heroes that are bad against Slardar, from my experience, are the ones that rely on melee trading to trading, right? The Slarks, the Ursas, Jug, Lifestealer, anything like that, really. Anything that relies on consistently trading in melee range, you almost always lose to Slardar. Assuming you're not getting like tri-laned or the guy's bad. We're talking about obviously if the matchup is played correctly. We have absolute last pick, so we're first going to consider what type of heroes are good versus Slardar. Other heroes that are also good versus Slardar, since Slardar is purely single target physical damage, he's also bad against illusion heroes. Generally like Naga, PL, Terrorblade are also pretty good against Slardar because they're high armor and they're illusions. So they oftentimes have a way to either dispel the Corrosive Haze or make it difficult to Corrosive Haze the right target in the first place. So those are probably my 5 go-to picks against Slardar. Gyro would be okay as well. Gyro is another ranged right clicker. I've also picked Luna. So let's just kind of take note. I've talked about illusion heroes being good versus Slardar, and then I've talked about ranged right clickers being good against Slardar. Usually ones that can either protect themselves or bully the Slardar so much that he can't go on you. So those that we've basically eliminated it to like 7 carries, right? Most of the time when you see the offlaner, it should be boiled down to maybe 5 to 10 carries. Like, I would say most offlaners, there's about somewhere between 5 to 10 heroes that you feel good, feel okay picking against, and then there's usually like 2 or 3 really good heroes. So I would say that like Drow Slardar are the absolute best. PL's probably a close third because he just screws on Slardar all game. You kite him very well, and you can continuously doppel off the Corrosive Haze. But all of them are pickable. So now we've boiled it down to like 7 heroes. So I usually think about my off-lane opponent, and I go, okay, that's boiled it down a little bit. So the next step that I have to go through is that I look at the other lanes, right? So I look at the other lanes, and I see a Leshrac. Leshrac is a mid laner who's very good against all illusion heroes. He's usually good against the PLs, the Terrorblades, the Naga Sirens. Is he a hard counter? He's like a soft counter. But you don't exactly go, yeah, let's pick an illusion hero into Leshrac, because he's just got so much AoE magic damage, and he can often run at you super early. So I don't want to pick an illusion hero into Leshrac. So now we've boiled that 7 hero pool down to 4, excuse me. We've eliminated most likely picking Terrorblade, PL, and Naga Siren. So then we've got Drow, Gyro, Troll Warlord, and Luna. So the thing about ranged heroes is that most of them don't protect themselves. So what I mean by that is if you look at the game plan, but also the lane, you have to think about there being a proper balance between you and your support working together to protect each other. So I love picking Luna. I picked Luna in an earlier game. I might have been against a Slardar. No, I wasn't against Slardar. I was against a similar type of hero. I was against Magnus, like a melee right clicker, right? But in this case, I had an Ogre 5. This was a Warlock 4. This was an Ogre 5. So when I pick a hero like Luna, who's kind of squishy, if you think about the way the lane goes poorly for Luna, she gets ran at a lot. She relies on her support to protect her. It's like if you have a Crystal Maiden or a Warlock as a support and they get gone on and you're a Luna, what are you going to do about it? Beam the guy? Sure. Like, you're going to beam the guy. That's about it. But if you get gone on, what's the CM or Warlock going to do? They're just going to, like, heal you maybe. They're going to, like, nuke the guy. But they're not going to, like, do anything for you other than, like, frantically cast their spells hoping to protect you. So the emphasis that I'm giving you is I've now considered their offlaner, I've now considered their mid laner, and then I've now also considered my 5 position. That's who I'm laning with, right? The 5 position. So I look at Slardar Mirana, and I say, that's a lot of kill threat. Slardar stun plus Mirana arrow is pretty scary. If the Slardar ever manages to get on top of the Warlock, he's probably dead. So let's quickly fast forward for a second, and we'll kind of show you the dynamic of the lane. So here's a perfect example, right here, of if you were to watch this entire lane. I'll move my camera for a second for anyone who wants to see the replay ID, just in case you want to watch the lane back. Let me remove my camera for a second here. So there's the replay ID, just for the sake of watching the lane back if you wish to watch it and learn what I mean. The dynamic of this lane is that the opponent can't really go on me as a troll, because I'm going to be in ranged form, and it requires Slardar to run at me, and I understand this, so I go boots early, right? So I'm going to make sure I don't get initiated onto by Slardar, and if he ever were to run at me, I'd quickly throw some whirling axes at him, slow him, and walk away, right? However, Warlock can't really do the same thing. If he ever tries to contest a pull, which is what happened here, he tried to contest a pull, and he gets gone on by a Mirana arrow or a Slardar stun, he's going to be in some trouble. And it's like, yeah, I can come over and try to protect him a little bit, but that's about it. But notice the dynamic of the lane. It's my Warlock who's fragile, who's vulnerable, and it's me protecting him, right? One more time, we'll see it coming up again. So the question is, would you ever be willing to play like this if you were a Drow, a Luna, or a Gyro? What you're about to see. Where my Warlock's going to get gone on over here, and they're going to try to follow up with a Mirana arrow, and I just walk in and tank the arrow. And then I proceed to make the Slardar miss with my whirling axes, and I proceed to run at the opponent and bully them away. So if I'm a Drow or a Luna, I'm expecting my support to do what I just did for him, for me. That's what those heroes rely on. Those heroes, even Gyro, to some extent. These heroes rely on being protected. Gyro's a bit different because he has a lot more aggression potential, so as long as the support does damage, he may be able to work with them. Notice how the dynamic of this lane is me protecting the Warlock, not the other way around. So yes, I could have picked Luna, yes, I could have picked Drow, in the sense that it's decent against Slardar in lane, but it doesn't work nearly as well with my support. And it's a lot to do with how you protect each other. Protecting each other is really important if the opponent's lane is a kill lane. Slardar Mirana is 100% a kill lane. So this is really important. And I think something you guys can consider every time you're trying to pick your carry is practicing this thought process. Usually I look at my lane opponent first. Then I consider like the type of hero I want based on the enemy mid or enemy carry, whatever I've seen so far. And then I also, out of those options, think which one synergizes best with my support. And Dota is very specific. Like when we're on panels and we're analyzing drafts and we're talking about like why we think a hero's good here, oftentimes the team will pick something that's at least remotely similar. They'll pick, like if we're suggesting Jug, they'll pick Lifestealer. Or if we're suggesting, a range carry, they'll pick another one instead of the one we had in mind. But Dota is very specific. There's a lot of things you have to think about in a laning stage, and this is only one component of the game. I liked Troll as a lane winner, but he also buys like an early BKB, and we had a lot of early team fight, so a lot of space making potential on my team. So like that was of consideration. But laning's just one facet of the game, and understanding in depth the laning stage can help you a lot at any given level. So hope you guys learned a lot from this quick analysis of why I picked the carry that I did. I think it's really important to follow the step-by-step thought process that I took. And if you don't know matchups, you can kind of study them in the capacity that I talked about in this video. And if you liked it, push that button and all that kind of fun stuff. So thanks for watching. Bye. If you liked this video, please like, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel, all that shenanigans, because at the end of the day, YouTube does care about that. You may not care about it, I may not care about it, but the YouTube algorithm does. So please do.